our questions answered.
Hey everybody, how you
when the final
doing?
deal comes to us.
That's
And again, there
Oakland
is
City
no deal
Council
yet.
President
But we did
President
pass a
Nikki
framework
Fortunato
in
Bass
July
talking
of
about
last year
what she thinks
that
about
lays out
the
what we as
Howard
the
Tunnel
council want
project.
to
They're about to
see.
vote on
And
the call
in
for
addition to that,
this
in
go on November
February,
ballot. Let's listen.
we passed a resolution, which I co-authored together with Vice Mayor Kaplan and Councilmember Kalb, which lays out specifically before the development agreement comes to this council, we will get the financial report, which Councilmember Gallo has scheduled. We will get a detailed report on what the community benefits concretely will be. We have to hear about the affordable housing that we have put out as our goal. We have to hear about what the jobs policies will be, which is related to what the port needs to deliver. We also need to hear what the plan is for making this seaport continue to thrive. So all of those things will come to us before the development agreement is signed off on and voted upon by this council, in addition to all the other bodies that you heard about that will consider this project. So I want everyone to know that my job as council president is to make sure that we are doing our due diligence before we make decisions. We are listening. We are hearing what your concerns are. We are getting answers, and that we will fully vet this project, because there's both a lot of opportunity and a lot of questions. So with that, I am not ready to put this on the ballot. I think we do need to have a deal so that we have the actual information about the numbers, the level of affordable housing, all of those things that we have already mentioned and put into resolutions that we want to know as a council. So I will not be able to support this today, but I am fully committed to making sure that we have a transparent process, we get our questions answered, and that we do allow for even more public participation than already exists through all of our meetings. So with that, I am ready to call the question. Councilmember Reed, I saw your hand just went up. If you could be brief.
Yes.
Just go ahead.
Through the chair, I just want to clarify. Councilmember Call made mention, and perhaps it might be helpful to the public with this process. Certainly, hearing that, we certainly prioritize making sure that we take care of our community and uplifting the voice of the voters over some of the things that were stated in public comments. But Councilmember Call mentioned potentially bringing a ballot measure forth in January. Can someone speak to what that process is? If this ballot measure today is not supported, what that opportunity could be? No. Is that appropriate for someone to address, to give clarity on what was meant by that comment for a potential restating or reworking as we gain more information for a future ballot measure?
Sure. Councilmember Call, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. Just to clarify, all I was saying was that if the proposal that does come before us, let's say in the fall, as Ms. Lake is suggesting, that and it doesn't have what I or we feel is needed in terms of financial security, financial ironclad backstops, as I articulated a little while ago, then at that time we can choose to create a special election. Now, there's a whole process to do that with the county, but cities are allowed to call special elections for ballot measures if we want to. I don't think that there's anything in our charter prohibiting us from doing that. And so when that special election would be determined when we deal with that at the council. I'm not suggesting I want that or I expect that to happen, but that's always an option we have on the table if we feel the deal before us should go to the voters at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Call the question.
All right, we have the motion and second on the floor. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On item 10, moved by Councilmember Gallo, seconded by Councilmember Fife. Councilmember Fife.
Madam Clerk, I do see Councilmember Fife's hand up. Councilmember Fife.
Through the chair to the clerk or perhaps the city attorney, wouldn't the cost of a special election be more than the cost of putting something on the ballot for November?
Call the question. Jeez Louise.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
Yes, the question.
It would, certainly.
Okay. I'm just saying, okay, thank you. I'm prepared to vote.
On item 10, moved by Councilmember Gallo, seconded by Councilmember 5. Councilmember 5.
Aye.
Councilmember Gallo.
Aye.
Councilmember Call.
No.
Vice Mayor Kaplan.
Abstain.
Councilmember Reed.
No.
Councilmember Taylor.
No.
Pro Tem Tao. No. Council President Boss.
No.
Motion fails with a vote of 2 ayes, 5 noes, 1 abstention.
There you go, folks.
Okay.
So, we live on to fight another day.
Thank you, everyone who's been engaging on this. And thank you, Council Members Gallo and Fife. I know that was not the outcome that
We live on to fight another day, folks.
but hopefully the discussion was helpful.
Yay.
I think we are committed to ensuring there is even more
I'm gonna get out of that
information
right
and
there.
more process participation, transparency going forward.
Okay, let me leave that one.
Okay.
Leave that one, because that's, for one thing, really causing a lot of disruption. Okay. All right, 5-2 with 1 abstention. I know that's Rebecca's, because she's running for Oakland, Alameda County Supervisor, District 3 seat that Wilma Chan held. And so that's why 32 Assassin, that's why she abstained. It's political. So, dodged a gigantic bullet that really looked for a moment like it was going to go the wrong way. I've got 2 live streams, this one and this one. And it's really great. The next steps are these. First of all, for me, this matter of the project has to be put on a fast track. It's got to be under the guise of a public financing authority. It's not. It's all over the place. It's unstructured. You don't know who's exchanging documents, what the status of those document exchanges are. You don't know anything that you would know if this were done like the Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum Joint Powers Authority, when the Warriors Arena was being built and there were constant updates. You could track what was going on because it was a legislative deliberative body, or the Las Vegas Stadium Authority that built what we now call Allegiant Stadium, where you can, to this day, go back as far as 2016 and see all the project reports and all of the status reports on the project. There's nothing like that for this project. It is not done right, okay? And so because it isn't done right, yet you have a lot of media attention, a lot of public people asking about it, you get this. This is what you get. He says, no, the A's believe it's worth it. The trouble is Major League Baseball that is, doing this and saying, hey, look, what's going on? These are clear problems that you get with an activist government that doesn't understand administration. And that's where we are today, folks. You have people who are used to getting out there and getting on the streets or pretending like they're down or woke, which is fine. But when it comes to actually getting a project done, okay? And that's where we're at. And so the same people who claim to want to help people who don't have a lot don't understand how to pull levers of government to make government work for the people in need. Howard Terminal legislation, SB 293, Skinner, was designed to do just that. But the problem is that it's not being implemented correctly, and we are seeing the results. The results are a confused public and an overture. And my prediction, this will not be the last time this sort of thing happens, okay? But what I'm looking at next is, will Phil Ruffin buy the Flamingo? Because I have a feeling the Athletics are waiting for Phil Ruffin to buy the Flamingo. I believe that's where they want to put the ballpark, okay? And he says, does this mean the mayor and her team, the mayor and her team have done a piss poor job? Great question, Eric. They have done a lousy job of this. Unfortunately, my interview with the mayor was distorted, but I'm going to continue to put out bits and pieces of it so you can hear what we talked about. Because I said to her that if I were doing the project, we would establish the public financing authority right now, which would give sunshine. which means you, the public, would be able to ask where Howard Terminal is, what's the status, about different documents, who's involved, everything. You don't have that ability, okay? That's an enormous problem. But I'm going to stop this video. It's 2:01 in the East. I'm going to finish the live stream up here, mainly because my Mac is about to crash under the weight, but this is the Mac, but I'm on live here. Okay, I've got this live stream going, as you can see, all right? This is the other live stream that I have going. So, but this is the wrap up, okay? And so anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me. Get some sleep, those of you who are up late. We'll see you tomorrow, okay? And I'll take this up again tomorrow, another live stream. I'm going to stop the one here, this one. See you, John Marks and everybody. We'll see you guys very soon, all right? Subscribe to Zenny62, bookmark Oakland News Now, blog.com. Great victory. That ends this broadcast. Okay, so in that broadcast there, all right, I'm going to restart the computer down there. While that's happening, on the Mac side, I've got the Mac here. Okay.
Choose restart.
And trying to cause it to quit here.
I'm not sure I understand.
It's talking to me. Anyway, okay, now back to the matter at hand regarding Howard Terminal next steps. The next steps are to find out what the next steps are, because again, there's no definitive update. If you go to the update sheet on the City of Oakland website, the last update that was posted was the 25th of February of this year. And, you know, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And if there's been another update, look, you don't have a set of monthly updates, right? So how do you track what's going on? You don't know which documents were voted on when, which documents were finished and done, what the A's have signed, what they haven't signed, what's left to be done. We don't know any of that. And so we need to establish the Public Financing Authority yesterday. That's the next step, yesterday. And so we don't have that, because it will help to align the process and focus the process. If we don't have that established, this thing is screwed, okay? All right? Ask her. Ask her. Seriously. Ask her. All right? Ask her. When I interviewed the mayor Friday, I was explaining for the umpteenth time why I should be involved. She said, "What is this, a job interview?" That's the second time she's insulted me in that way. All right? And then think about it. I'm just going to be very blunt. Libby puts out white female staffers as the face of what she does in sports. It's like she's trying to prove a point. She did it with the Raiders issue with Claudia Capio, who was completely out to lunch on the project. I'm just stating a fact. Why do I say she was out to lunch? I'll tell you why. Claudia Capio left the lot group hanging with a spreadsheet she was supposed to have done when I happened to run into her coming out of a meeting at the mayor's office with Larry McNeil, who was the Raiders Stadium point person at the time, and Larry Reed and a few other people. I asked her about it. She says, "I haven't done it." I said, "Oh, I'm happy to do it for you." She said, "Okay," never got back to me on it, all right? And that was just a few short months before Larry McNeil just disappeared from the landscape. We don't know what happened to the Raiders Stadium point person for Oakland. He just disappeared, okay? And then, of course, we know what happened in Las Vegas that next year, 2017, on March, right? But point I'm making is that if you follow the email trail exchange between the city and the Raiders and Larry McNeil and Claudia Capio, they stop at September 16th of 2016. Why? Okay? They just stopped, all right? And never to be continued. But in reading them, you know, Claudia was basically information gathering from Larry, but didn't have anything in the way of a finance plan. It was so crazy what they were doing with financing that when I went to see Drew McKnight of forced investments in San Francisco. I went to his office. He was telling me that they were going to offer a $750 million loan, just like Las Vegas. I said, who told you to do that? He said, Eric Grubman. I said, don't follow what the NFL is doing. They're just trying to make it seem like you don't have a plan so they can use that against you. Because right now, if you're basically rocking like you've got a trench coat and you're saying, I've got a deal here and I've got a deal here, what does it make you sound like but that you really don't know what it is you're doing? Meanwhile, they've got Goldman Sachs on their side. They've got the best sports facility financiers at the ready. Did the Raiders, the same people that are helping the A's in both Oakland and Las Vegas, all right? Greg Carey and his people, and Elliott McCabe, Bank of America banker, who I've met, they've got them on their side, all right? That's what the Raiders had on their side. And the Lock Group didn't have anything like that with Drew McKnight and Fortress, nothing, okay? And at the end of the day, they started to look like the used car salesman you don't want to deal with, all right? So here we are again, and in that situation, we didn't have any stability. And that was the mayor's fault, okay? It was the mayor's fault. And when she put people in charge, it wasn't anybody that was credible to the NFL. Nobody. Me? Hey, the NFL knows who I am because I worked to bring the Super Bowl, try to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland. So if she had said, hey, Zenny, you know Roger, everybody else, you'd do it, the league would have been very happy. Because the league is great about assisting you, helping you, pointing you in the right direction. That's what they did with me in the Super Bowl. That's why I got as far as I did. All right? And yeah, I've said that, they didn't treat Libby right, but also Libby made it about her. She's making this about her. It's always her face out there. And that's why the project is failing. There's no point person. And Molly Mabern, who's supposed to be the project manager, is not the point person. She's not the person you're seeing on television. And on the occasions that she has been before the camera, she has not looked good at all. And Ed Reskin in Oakland's lore, the city manager, now city administrator, like Robert Bobb or Henry Gardner, has always been the person that was the face of these efforts. Not this time, not with Libby. Libby makes it all about her, and that's the problem, folks. She will not let go of the spotlight. And when she puts her out there, I've got to have all women. She telegraphs exactly what she's doing. It's not, hey, I got the best here, or hey, I've got the man who is the only person in Oakland's history to try to bring the Super Bowl here. These trophy case relationships for these projects, she has not tried to build. And that's what matters, folks. All right, more about this tomorrow. It's hot. I'm sweating. I'm going to turn on the air conditioner again. We'll be back tomorrow night. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNowblog.com. And thank you for watching and participating.